Guys, so I literally just got like the weirdest text from my sister-in-law. I'm literally shaking. I don't even, she messaged me and she was like, is it okay? Like, would you be okay with your boys meeting your dad? And I was like, my dad? I thought it was a typo. It was like, my biological father. And she's like, yeah, like your real dad, like your birth dad, the one who netted, your dad. And so I was like, what is she asking? I was so confused by that question, but she was like, what? I can't even talk, like I'm literally shaking. But she was like, would you be okay with your kids meeting your dad? And I was just like, yeah, like when? Like when do you mean? Like what is going on? And she was like today. For those of you who don't know, I have not seen my biological dad since 2009. So I was 11 at the time. So I'm being like dramatic because I just woke up, but I haven't seen him. Can't even talk. I haven't seen him since I was 11 years old. And I'm 26 now. And he lives in Pennsylvania. He apparently flew in last night for a surprise. And I mean, congratulations, he did just that. It's a surprise. And you know, I think I've been battling with the emotions like all morning, what I should do, like whether or not I should allow them to see him. I always knew there was a possibility for like this day to come. I just didn't think that there was gonna be this much like feeling. I think I'm really overwhelmed, guys. Like I think I'm really overwhelmed with like the entire situation. And I'm just like kind of going back and forth in my head. And I'm like, should I let them go? Should I not? I don't have any animosity towards that man. I just like haven't spoken to him since 2009. My parents actually got divorced in 2007. You know, my mom decided to stay in Idaho. My dad decided to go back to Pennsylvania. You know, it was just like one of those things where over the years, for me at 9 years, or sorry, yeah, for me, because it was 2007, I was 9 in 2007. So it was just one of those things for me to have to process at such a young age. So from 9 to 11, and when I was 11, that's when he came back to Idaho and he visited for pretty much like the last time that I had ever seen him like physically. Just to put things in context for you guys, like that man could be walking past me on the street and I would have no idea what he looks like because it's just been that long. But I feel like, to be completely transparent, I've been in no contact with him since I was 11. That last time that he came to visit, after that I started kind of, and this is quite the thought process, and can you imagine like an 11-year-old trying to process these things and maintain this relationship like with their dad? But it's like over the years, right, I'm finding out these things where it's just like he's just not showing up for me how he needs to be showing up for me, not how I need him to, but how he needs to be showing up for me, like in general. And it's like, I don't know that man. This is me at 11 years old, right? I'm like, I don't know him, he don't know me, he don't know my favorite color, he don't know what I like to do, he don't know my favorite food, he wasn't there for any of my graduations when I was younger and like doing extracurricular activities. One thing about me is I used to love singing, and I was in choir, going to those choir concerts. And you know, my mom, she's a single mother, so she's at work and she's busting her ass off to make ends meet for 4 kids. But you know, I still wanted to do my thing. I was like, you know, I want to be a singer. And I would always ask, even though it was futile, like it's really just dumb. In the end, I would always ask, I'm like, Mom, are you gonna be able to come to like my performance? You know, like I'm performing at school tonight, whatever. I was just letting her know. And obviously the answer was always gonna be no, because she's like, I can't, sweetie, like I have to work. And so just like looking out, like I'm on the stage, right, with all my peers and stuff, and we're looking out into the audience and I see everybody else's family, like their moms, their dads, their grandpas, like the whole nine, the whole family. And just knowing about like, I couldn't even have one person there. I could have one parent. My mom couldn't be there because she was working, and then like, you know, my dad couldn't be there because he just like wasn't in the picture. And just thinking back on these memories is so heartbreaking for me. Oh God, I think it's because I'm like, I never wanted to put my kids through anything like that. Nobody wants a failed marriage. Nobody gets married with the prospect of divorce in mind. Like I was super young and super naive when I was going through that relationship, and it was just like purely like solely based on that strong emotion of love. You know, there was no logic, no rhyme, no reason behind it. It was just like, I love this person, I want to be with them. And that completely threw everything like out the window, which was stupid clearly. But it's like, nobody wants a failed marriage, you know, nobody gets married to get divorced, nobody wants to alternate Christmases. It's like I put my kids down for bed at the end of the day and don't have anyone to share that with. Like, you know, I can share that with my mom and my brothers, and however my day was, I can share that with them, but it's not the same, if you guys know what I mean. Kids are going to be starting preschool in September. Like, nobody wants to go to school events alone. People always ask me like why I tried so hard, or why women in general try so hard to make these toxic, like these relationships that they know are not good for them, work. And I think it's because I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for myself. And I think that for myself personally, I wasn't grieving him. I was grieving the dream. I wanted the beautiful family, the happy ever after, the growing old together, the joy of raising children you created together. Looking at your children and seeing the image of someone you adore, like reflecting back at you. I think for the longest time, I was grieving the dream, not what it was, but what it should have been. And that goes for my childhood and for my marriage as well. I've not seen or spoken to my dad in however many years that is, 11 to 26. And I just feel like it's a huge like burst of emotion. And I haven't really been forced to think about it for a long time. It's like when you get in those moments where it's like you're forced to think about your trauma, then that'll be the real test of if you're healed or not. Clearly, seeing as how like the situation just made me a freaking mess. You know, this morning I've just been like sitting here and like reflecting. All of that goes to say that it was really tough. I think so many people want me to spill like the tea and the drama. Oh no, I'll talk about that later. Can't even freaking think right now. Long story short, I agreed to have the children meet my dad. I personally won't be going. I just don't think that I can. I feel like I'm hyper aware of the fact that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifferent. And even though it brings up a lot of emotion in me for my kids, like, you know, because I just feel like it's, you know, it's like a cycle. I feel for the most part really indifferent towards him. Like, I know I'm crying and all that stuff and I'm sad, but I don't love him. I don't hate him. I'm just, you know, indifferent towards him. I am working on forgiving. You know, forgiveness is for yourself. It's not for the other person. Like, at the end of the day, they don't really care what they did to you. And I know that forgiveness is such a tough thing to do, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like you have to look at this person or people who caused you so much pain and be like, I'm willing to bear the burden of the pain that you caused me, right? Because that's what you have to do, like, at the end of the day, because you got to keep it pushing. You got to move on. They don't care. They don't have to live with what they did to you. Like, at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with that. So heal that in your heart so that you can live your life the way that you need to live your life. And I honestly can't say I don't know. There's such a huge disconnect between him and I. And I know that when people grow up in these situations, they either do one of two things. They kind of lean towards what I'm doing as of right now. And they're just like, you know, I don't really see the point of having that relationship. I feel like people are always like, oh, forgive your dad, whatever he might have been going through, whatever he was going through, and like all this stuff. I don't feel indifferent towards my dad because of the things that he did do. I feel indifferent towards him because of the things that he did not do. And that's where my struggle personally is lying with the decision to come back to the States, because that's another thing that everybody's asking me about. They want to know the tea, the drama, like, why did I come back to the States so early from Korea? Because that was a split moment decision. Like, I decided I was coming home on a Thursday and I was gone by Friday. Like, when I say quick, y'all, quick, I texted, you know, friends, family, grandma on the way to the airport because I didn't want nobody stopping me. I had already made in my mind. I made up my mind. I made up my decision. And I was firm on that decision. I was standing. Okay. Hold on. My floor's a little dirty. Don't pay attention to that. Don't look at the bed either. But I was standing like this. Okay. On that business. I went out last night, so maybe, I don't know if it's because I'm a little, like, tipsy still or whatever. My brain has just gone white, y'all. Like, I don't even know what to think. But I guess I've agreed to it. The boys are gonna go meet their grandpa for the first time, and I wanted to share that with y'all. I'm sure it's gonna be a beautiful meeting, and I wish that I could. A part of me wishes that I could take part in it. I just don't feel like that's something that I want to do. It's like one of two things. Either you're gonna go and you're gonna look for that relationship that you mourned for so long, and you're gonna want to be open and understanding and being like, hey, give me these answers. Like, I have so many of these questions. It's a lot of why. But I'm the type of person where it's like, you leave me to my own thoughts, right? My own devices. And you leave me to figure out why by myself. When I have to come to my own conclusions and when I have to come to my own answers, it's like you're not gonna like the answers that I have to come to, because at the end of the day, my answers are based on the reality of the situation. And sometimes there's just no room for anything else. You could sit there all day. Sometimes you can't. Not everything is justifiable. Everything is explainable for the most part, but not everything is justifiable. And this is just one of those situations where I don't feel like fathers in these situations expectations is justified. And if you have the heart to sit there and you have the heart to listen to that explanation, kudos to you. Like, you're better than me. And I hope that I can get to that level of forgiveness in my heart one day. Today's not that day. So anyways, y'all, I'm gonna go. I know there's probably gonna be a lot of you in the comments telling me that, like, you know, I should go meet him and give him that chance, give him that opportunity, whatever, like the whole nine. I'm going to dress them up in cute little outfits and get them ready to go meet their granddad for the first time. And you guys will get to go with them and experience that. So I'm super excited, and I need some Hey buddy, do you know where you're going today? Yeah, you're gonna go hang out with your cousin Azalea, and also you're gonna go meet your grandpa for the first time. Are you excited? They are getting ready to go to a splash pad right now. Love you.